Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos.
Los chicharrones.
Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Le saco el dedo y digo Q. Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Fallo. Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you at all. Hold on. There has to be something. Oh, look, no sound. Look at the comments, yeah. No sound? There we go. Okay. What's up, Miami? I can hear a thing. Let me see if we can get this fixed. It's always great having audio difficulties.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear perfect.
Okay. Oh, my bad. Guys, I had so many great points and no one heard any of them. Well, that's the end of the show. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm backing up Hitchcock Podcast. Ray Fickle, I appreciate you guys. My goodness, man. You know.
I was like, when I walked around, I'm like, wait a second. Like,
that was me. It was me then.
Oh,
okay.
I see you moving your mouth. I'm like, I don't hear shit. And I'm like, I'm here, like, my volume was all the way up. My headphones, I'm like, oh, these damn headphones don't work again. And I'm like, what's going on, bro?
Oh, man. I apologize, guys. Again, let me start this a little bit over here. East 10th Street Boys, straight out of Hialeah on the Fitz Talk Sports Network. Thank you all for tuning in. Now that I'm not alone, I got Alex here in the house. I got myself, Bobby Fitz Talk with Alex and Tia Chiska. My goodness, what a week. Again, a lot of talk about disappointing loss on Monday Night Football. What I was saying or trying to say to everyone tuning in, a lot of high emotion, overreaction emotion and all that whatnot. And completely justified. I was saying was, look, I'm not a gatekeeping fan. I don't believe in this whole, if you don't fan this way, you shouldn't be a fan. No, you have every right to be upset and be upset, call this guy whatever. But it is time to kind of get over it. I'm in a sense of, look, teams win and lose all the time. Miami got caught up. It was a bad loss. There's no reason why the Dolphins should have lost to the Titans. There's no reason why the Titans should have got 14 points on us. Yes, it starts. Evan, he was hammering on the coach. It starts on the coach. Play calling was very questionable. You can say what you want about the quarterback. It was not a great game by Tua. The defense let that up at the end there. It blew. It blows. But is it the end of the world? No. The Miami Dolphins are 9-4. They're the first in the AFC East by 2 games. Mm-hmm. All right. And they're in second place in the AFC conference. It's not over, folks. It sucks. But you know what? Good to great teams lose to crappy teams all the time. It happened to the Chiefs a couple weeks ago. Happened to, it's going to, it happens to the Chiefs to the Eagles. Weeks now. What I'm saying, It happens. But does that mean the Chiefs are not Super Bowl contenders? No. Absolutely not. No. Doesn't mean that at all. And so, Miami has to figure this out. They cannot go do what they did on Monday night with the Ravens, the Cowboys, or the Bills. In order for Miami to go end this season with a good spot in the playoffs, whatever that's the second, third, first seed, whatever you want to do it, they have to fix up what the hell they're doing. They can't go in there with the sloppy play calling. Tua has to be a little more aggressive and smart with the ball, all that crap. But teams have those issues. Anyway, I spoke a lot about that on post game. Mm-hmm. I just want to get out there because I've been watching and listening to a lot of people. And again, I see people go, oh, if you don't like our coach or you have a problem with our quarterback, then you get off the team. BS. Your Dolphin fans have every right to fan the way they want to fan. If they're pissed off at their quarterback and their coach and their team, let it be known. If you're okay with it and you're ready to move on, that's okay too.
What's up, Bob?
It is what it is. Manny in the house. Good to see Manny. Alex, we haven't heard from you, sir.
Yes.
First off, how the hell are you? And what are your thoughts on Monday Night Football? But first, how the hell are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. A little tired. A lot going on this week, basketball wise. Which was part of the reason I couldn't log on Monday because I got home super late. I was able to see the ending of the game, but I was exhausted. We had our JV and varsity game against Carroll City on Monday, so we got double victory, which is the second victory for JV, our first varsity victory in school program in history. So we were excited about that. The Heat won, so I was excited about that, and then I got home. Still sweaty, drenched, and I was just able to sit on my couch to watch the ending of the third and the whole fourth quarter. Was I stunned by the way we lost the game? Absolutely, especially the pendulum swing, where the game seemed to be like, oh, it's a 13-13 or 13-10. We're like, oh, sloppy. And then we have the muff punt. We recover, we score on a run. We have the fumble recovery, and we score on a run. So you have this high where the whole stadium is blowing up with emotion. You have a 14-point lead with 4 minutes to go, and then you start seeing them carve the field on their first drive. And I'm like, ooh, because the mindset, me thinking, I'm like, watch, bro. And I really hope it didn't happen. But I'm like, if they score, Miami's going to get ultra conservative and play not to lose, which was how we used to play before McDaniel. And then McDaniel tries to get flashy with the end zone, with the red zone plays. And I believe Miami is the number one red zone team in the whole NFL, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken by this, but I know sometimes we talk that he gets fancy with like the little fades that are not working right now, and he's not running it enough. And then we end up running it consecutively, some dumb passes to a chain, which some questionable calls of us getting out of bounds, and the referees keep calling. Like, there's a few. This is not an excuse base because it was a total team meltdown. I understand the defense got us there in the fourth quarter. The defense kind of kept. Well, honestly, you can say this was a defensive football game where our defense was stout the whole game. The worst the defense played all game was the last 3 minutes of the fourth, which I don't understand. It was miscommunication issues. I know DeAndre Hopkins got away with a massive pass interference offensive pass interference on Howard at times. This whole defense calling about sudden movement, which is that even illegal? Like, I don't even think that's an illegal play. What Caesar got called for, that sudden shift
Yeah,
defensively,
no, that,
you
that
can
was
shift
that
at
was
any
a
time.
that was a ticky tack call. That wasn't supposed to be. What's up, Rob? Man, he's
So-
again in the house. Tati, go ahead.
Those are things, the only thing that bothers me, Bobby, that it doesn't fail. The moment we fail in prime time is the same people that go on Twitter and they go absolutely berserks, and the whole season is lost. This is pointless. Why are you going to pay Tua? Chris Greer did this. Oh, look at that. Everybody's hurt. Like, is it Chris Greer's fault that Connor Williams tore his ACL? No, it's not Chris Greer's fault. It sucks. It's unfortunate. Injuries happen. I understand the narrative that we've had about the offensive line depth. And it's funny because we talked about this. We're bearded the other day. Like, the
Yeah.
offensive line, the talk about the offensive line was minimized lately. So now all of a sudden is back in the forefront. There are situations that happen that I truly believe in this, and this is not an excuse. The stretch that is coming, we should have won this game. I'm happy we lost this game because it puts in the forefront what we're doing wrong and what we're lacking. Sometimes you don't want to go in these stretch runs winning a game that you should have lost, because if we would have won this game, I know the coaching staff wouldn't have taken it for granted, but there's a lot of things that we need to clean up offensively where we need to balance it out. Now, to me, it's not only about balancing out the run. McDaniel has shown that he's balanced out the run. It's when to use it and also spreading the ball around with Jalen Waddle. If we can get a big playmaking tight end for the end zone issues that we have at times, like the way he calls the game sometimes, he's progressed, he's improved, but there's still some questionable decisions. When to run it, when not to run it. Are you overpassing it at time? Are you trying to get too fancy and get tricky and catch them? That whole expect the unexpected, but they really expect it already. So they know where you're going to go with. So there are things that in losses are magnified. I'll give you a quick example. The other day, we lost a game by 16 points the other day, like a week ago. We started the game up 15-0. So it was a 31-point swing from the beginning, the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, towards the end of the game. Why? Because we got sloppy offensively. We took it for granted. And that's a game that's a defensive. I still don't know, and maybe you can enlighten me because you guys have talked about. I haven't talked to anybody about it. I just saw the ending. What was the situation end of game defensively? Because we know you take away the end zone, you take away the sidelines. In your opinion, Bobby, like I said, you guys already talked about this. You guys have probably already regurgitated it. But what went down? What was the defensive meltdown that led to these drives? Because Levis basically played like there was no defense on the field. Like, I've never seen a quarterback drive 2 drives back to back. I understand the Peyton Mannings of the world, the Drew Brees of the world, but I understand the Titans are a physical team. They have nothing to lose because they're out of the playoff race realistically. So they're just playing. He's just playing football. But what was the breakdown defensively? Because I don't understand what truly happened aside from I saw the massive gaps on the field, maybe some miscommunication with Jalen Ramsey on the cross with Hopkins. Like, what happened?
So, first off, you brought up a good point or a good comparison compared to your basketball game with the Dolphins.
Yes.
And I will say too, they started off great, the defense, and the defense I think helped keep Miami's in it. Their offense struggled. The Dolphins' offense should not have looked like that against the Titans' defense
At all.
The defense, they didn't have Jeffrey Simmons, they didn't have Fulton, they didn't have a lot of guys on there, yet they still kept Miami in check and kind of rattled the quarterback. The comparison I would say to it is the Miami game against Baltimore. Dolphins were up 4. Gotcha. Yeah, the Dolphins were up 14 points in 4 minutes. And like Dolphin fans who were saying we were going 10-3 on Twitter, or like Ralph who called me at 4 minutes, who never calls me during a game, 4 minutes left in the game and says, "Oh man, it's an ugly win, but at least I'll take the win." And then I'm like, "Hey, dude, game's not over." And as soon as he hung up with me, it's all right when they scored and got the 2-point conversion. So, go and get it, boy. Appreciate you tuning in, Manny. We'll jump on your show to take a look at it once we're finished here. But to me, that's what it was. I think Miami on defense, because offense, I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but defensively, I think they kind of took their foot off the gas and said, okay, we got this. There's no way they scored 2 touchdowns in a row. No way our offense gives the ball back so fast. And that's exactly what went down. And, and I have to agree. There was 2 things I noticed. Evan blames McDaniel.
He should have had.
And I agree with this right here. When the lights go on, I've said this. I've said it on pregame, and I said it throughout the week, and people don't listen, but I hope they listen now. The Dolphins on primetime do not have a good record. When the lights turn on primetime, the Dolphins get blinded by the light.
But why is that?
I don't know. They shrink. They shrink. And Rob just put it there, and that's
Hard Knocks. They're a team built for the spotlight.
Blinded by the light. They're good showmen. They'll show out. It's easy to show out when when you're doing well and but then when it gets tough and somebody smacks you in the mouth and you can't get up from that, that's a problem. Look, 2 things. First off, let me just get these 2 points here, because one thing Evan during post game went wild on Mike McDaniel. He's a moron. He's this.
He should have had Tyreek Hill on the field even when he was running it, because that creates a diversion. That creates a gravitational pull.
And again, I think it was a little too harsh. I don't think, anything of that nature. But what I will say is he's not wrong. Mm-hmm. McDaniel, I think, is the blame for that game. There's no reason why when you have all that talent, Tyreek Hill is the best player on that field. There is no one better than Tyreek Hill on that field. Not even DeAndre Hopkins, who's great. Not Derrick Henry, who's great.
No one. He's the most talented person on the field at any time.
But on the Dolphins offense, you have Raheem Mostert, who just tied Mark Clayton and Ricky Williams at running back. You have Jalen Waddle. You got enough weapons. You got Devon Achane. You got enough weapons to spread that ball and spread the field. Now, could it be Tua, who's a prisoner of Tyreek, who is always looking his way? Maybe Tua went back to his one-read wonder in that game. But I have to fall back on it's on the coach. You've called that game. You have to open up the playbook. You have to teach your team, hey, stop getting cute. We got to win. We got to show out.
It's funny because Tua's pocket presence was at times very, very good in certain moments where he flushed the pocket when he had to. So it was one of those mysteries that. Well,
I'll say this in regards of he's going to break every record, and we got to give first and don't give it to him when they did. He cashed in. Absolutely, Mostert is the unsung hero of this offense. Everybody's talking about Tua. Everybody's talking about Tyreek. People keep saying, where's Waddle? But no one enough is saying Dominique Raheem Mostert. That guy is so big to this team, just like Connor Williams, which a lot of people were saying he doesn't deserve his extra money. He shouldn't be holding out. He should be moved back to left guard. We should sign a center. The guy is rated the best center in the NFL, and he just tore his ACL. When we lost Terron Armstead and Connor Williams, the biggest noticeable difference was losing Connor Williams.
Absolutely.
That's going to hurt us going forward. I don't care who you bring in. No one played better than Connor Williams. And Dolphin fans are going to learn to appreciate him now in this stretch. But what I was going to say is something I noticed, and I'm not hammering on it, but talking about Will Levis, the quarterbacks. Will Levis, before the 14 points and after the 14 points, had a fire in his eyes. Mm-hmm. He was screaming. He was all bulked up, muscle veins, and vein in the neck, whatever. Scores 14 points. He's screaming. His eyes are bulgy. He's hyped. Team is hyped with him. DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best receivers ever in the NFL, going with him, feeling that. Tua's coming in now because Tua's down by 1. You have no timeouts because they don't know how to get the ball off in their own stadium. They've wasted. They have no timeouts at this point, or 1. I don't know.
Yeah, they have 1 and they had to burn it.
But either way, they're down. You look at Will Levis at 28-27. He looks on fire. He's hyping his team up. He's hyping his defense. You look at Tua. He's on the sideline. He's, again, blinded by the light. the only quarterback on the sideline that looked like he was ready to go in and win that damn football game, who couldn't because he's retired, was Dan Marino. Go back and watch that game.
Yeah, I saw that.
They show Levis, they show Tua,
yeah,
and then they showed Marino. Marino was biting his lip, and he was like that. And I was like, give him the uniform right now.
They're just different competitors. That's the way. Unfortunately that's.
But
the way.
that's what you need.
Yeah.
That's the difference between good, great, and elite. You need that. You need to have that fire. You are the franchise quarterback as of right now. You have to be able to go, guys, we got this. Let's go. We're going to win this football game. Tyreek doesn't need help getting fired up, but get him fired up. Get your team fired up. So then now the other team goes, oh, shit, here, we better be. No, and guess what? And it's not even, and look, the jiu-jitsu's great. It helped him. He's staying healthy, which is amazing. Here's the problem. Every time they touch him, he falls down. There's no fight. He could do a slippery slope and whatever, and probably extend the play. But every time they touch him, Will Levis was not going down. Will Levis escaped, and that's what caused Bradley Chubb to do the dumbass penalty when he threw his helmet down. Because Bradley Chubb, Levis is breaking free and making plays. Those are the things when you look, you go, damn, man. And again, it's not the end of the world. Does that mean Tua's a bad quarterback? No, he's a good quarterback. No, does that mean the Dolphins are a bad team and this is the end? We're going to lose it out. We're going down. No, we're 9-4.
And what is crazy? You were 2 plays away with a chain. Maybe like if a chain didn't stop a little bit or with a fumble, the other fumble, you were.
Rob's 2 points absolutely
away.
Right.
You were 2 points away.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll take care of him. But
this is why. That's why when people say, "Oh, I don't talk about people's money in regards to that." Like, I'll tell you, do I think we should sign him or send him? Yes or no. But if he wants to hold out, oh, he's selfish. No, he's not being selfish. He's won his money. That's a business. Now look, he's going to enter free agency, injured.
Yeah, especially football contracts are not guaranteed.
That's and I hope Rob knows this. I hope they do extend him. I don't want no other center. That's our center.
They're just going to extend them with probably more incentives and all that, but his agent will take care of it. So and back to the conversation, like it's crazy how this game, you're really like almost 2 to 3 plays away from being a 28-point game to all of a sudden you lose on the last second. You know what this reminded me of? To be honest with you, when the Hurricanes lost the last second, I forgot who we were playing. That we were 5-0. We were 4-0. We were about to go 5-0, and we didn't take a knee. Do you remember that game?
Yeah.
When I saw them drive the field, I felt already a loss the moment they scored the first touchdown. No, actually, when they scored the 2-point conversion, because I knew exactly what Weber was going with, he's going to go for the 2-point conversion. If he doesn't get it, he has to go against Georgia Tech. So he was going for the 2-point conversion. If you fail, if you don't execute it, you have a chance because either way you have to tie the game. So you're going to go for another 2-point conversion. When they went for that 2-point conversion, I'm like, shit, man. If they score again just with an extra point, they beat us. So this whole mindset, I was stunned. That's the number one thing that I would say I'm stunned by. Aside from the whole game and from the defensive collapse and from the offense being off completely. And I don't know how much that had to do with Tyreek Hill being out because like you mentioned, I do believe we have other weapons to automatically not alter our offense, but supplement our offense. Like you just mentioned with the chain out receiver, with Waddle, you even have Claypool that you can start incorporating. You have a lot of people. You have Braxton Berrios. You have a lot of playmakers that you can incorporate. But the number one thing that I felt just watching the game, and this is just, I put the coaching hat on, I'm looking at the field. I don't see Tyreek Hill. I'm like, this is a run. They're going to run the football. Or is it going to be a short little dump? You at least put Hill out there to create the double team situation or the possible deep just goal route. Like you have to put him there where I felt McDaniel used to do that last year when the whole tight end, when he would remove the tight end, when he would remove Gesicki, you knew they were running because he was removing Gesicki. This year we're able to hide that with Alec Ingold and our blocking tight ends. But I felt that was a number one thing that I'm pretty sure down the line you're not going to see that. He's still going to be creative in the red zone because people could talk all the shit they want to talk about Mike McDaniel, about the Dolphins. We're still the number one red zone offense team in the NFL. That doesn't happen by accident. Like, that's not a mistake. And when you do the comparisons to him rushing the football compared to last year, it's a substantial difference. He's already at the same He's already at, I think, I was reading a stat today. He's already at, right now, Miami running the football, rushing attempts and everything is already at the level they were at the end of last year with 4 games remaining. So he has altered his offense. He has balanced it out. It's the moments that he chooses to use it, and the fact that he always, when you're a great offensive team in one particular area, you tend to go with what you are amazing at. Like, for example, end of the game, Miami Heat, who's going to have the ball? Jimmy Butler. At the Lakers game, who's going to have the ball? LeBron James. I understand football's a different concept, but who are you going to try to get involved with at the end of the game when you need to play? Tyreek Hill. You're going to go Tua Tyreek. Now they take that away. That's when you have your Raheem Mosterts, you have your Jalen Waddles, you have your Chains. So I believe that's the last clip, which I'm glad. That's the reason I say I'm glad we lost a game like this, because unless you actually see, and McDaniel's a very cerebral coach. He understands what he needs to work on as a staff, for himself, as the players, etc. But until you actually see it affect you, and you see an L next to what should be a W, that's when it really kicks in. Like, holy shit, maybe I was overlooking a few things. Maybe I'm overdoing this, because a win kind of covers a little bit of the things that, like you said, like people, the famous, like, oh, an ugly win, but we still win. That's what matters. Sometimes you need to lose so you can see the actual effect. Like, holy shit, we just lost a football game that 767 people haven't lost before. Up 14 with less than 3 minutes left. That is a stat. When you see that stat, you're like, God damn, man, this is the first time this ever happened. Like, it hadn't happened. So those are the situations where you sit down and you dissect it. And as a coach, you can't sleep that night. Like, you go home and you don't even go to sleep. Like, those are the ones that you sit on your sofa and you're just staring and you're watching film and you're watching film and you're looking, you're like, God damn it, man. Like, how the fuck did we let this slip away? Like, and like I said, people can try to people can finger point at Tua. People can finger point at the defense. And I can't even knock the defense because, yeah, the defense had a complete meltdown. But the only reason you were in that football game was because of the defense.
Yeah.
The only reason that was a game is because of the defense, which I know is going to go unsaid, but we talked about this in the beginning of the season. Our defense is clicking on all cylinders, man. And I do believe, I know we have Javon Holland, so I do believe this defense is perfectly situated right now for this stretch, for these next 4 games, where I think we can win out. I really think we can win out. I know Baltimore's going to give us issues. I know we got the Bills. I know we got the Cowboys. But I do feel we can be motivated enough to win out and secure, because you don't want that scenario, but even if we lose every game, we still have a chance to win the division by beating the Bills, I think, the last game, or is Bills our last game at Buffalo?
Yes. Yep.
So, like, I understand people could say that, like, oh, we could lose every game and still win the division. That's not how you want to go into the playoffs. You don't want to go into the playoffs.
We're not
like
playing
that.
at Buffalo. We're in Miami.
We're in Miami. Okay. So that's the thing, man. Like, this is a situation where if you're going to lose a game like this, lose it now. Get it over with. And you're in the most important stretch of the season. You have to end the season on a high note, and you have to roll into the playoffs. So we're still 9-4. I've never seen someone give up on a 9-4 team so quickly in my life. And
I will say, and I just want to say this very quick. Forgive me.
yeah, go ahead, man.
But Rob just brought up there on Hard Knocks. If you watched yesterday's Hard Knocks, I don't know, and I'm sure there's some bad practices here and there.
Yet.
But they showed that Tua was struggling in practice, that the team was struggling in practice before this game. I'm sure there's practices that they struggle, but they don't show them. But because the Dolphins lost, they wanted to highlight that.
Of course.
So that's something where they did bring up, where even McDaniel was kind of noticing that. But I thought it was very intriguing that they ended up showing that. Anthony Manzano in the house. Honestly, I think we beat the Jets, but we lose to the Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. Alex, I'm not giving up on the team. I am giving up on the young quarterback. I don't trust him. I really don't. And again, here's my thing about that.
That's just a knee jerk at times. Like those.
Well, let me just say this. I understand where you're coming from, Anthony. I really do. Mm-hmm. Again, I have my things where I wish Tua would be a little more this and that. Sometimes we got to accept for what he is. I mean, he is who he is as a quarterback. Is he a bad quarterback? No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's a good quarterback. I would say I don't think he's elite. I think the weapons around him. It makes him great. He could be good to great. But the game is it's not only on him. This is bigger than him. You know, he's not the reason why the Dolphins lost, and he's not the reason why they're losing. And sometimes he's not really. That's why, like, you know, is he? Oh, and his win and loss record. Oh my gosh, look at his winning record. Look, well, it's a team around him. It's his coach. You know, it's, you know, remember a lot of the games that he started for his rookie year or even his second year, that was Flores' fault. I don't think they should have done that, but a lot of games he started, he struggled. They pulled him and they put Fitzpatrick to run. Yeah. And that's why he's record. That's why, you know, a lot of people kind of fluctuate that record a little bit, and they go, "Man, well, what's going on with him now?" It's just what happens. In December, he struggles, but right now the team struggled in this game. It was the offense overall had a bad game, and the play calling was. If I put any blame on it, again on this game on Monday night, it's on McDaniel. I gave it to McDaniel. I do.
You know, and the offensive line didn't have enough rep. The backups did not. It was a situation where you'll see the difference. The improvement will be catastrophically visible next game, because this offensive line, by the end of the game, the offensive line that was playing looked like it was just thrown together at the last minute. They haven't had
and then together. That's where the blame goes there, because Evan brought it up on
that's coaching.
And depth, yeah, you got to get your guys ready from front to back, and then you can't say, but you look Eichenberg starting inside. Well, guess what? Then that falls on the general manager.
You need to have a plan. If your backup,
you have to have a plan, because guess what?
You have to have.
Now, Kendall Lamb was a great fallback option for Terran Armstead. That's a success story.
That's perfect.
I'm down with that.
Perfect.
Austin Jackson, but what happens if Austin Jackson goes down? God forbid. Who are you going to have back there? That's the thing. That's where I look at the general manager and go, dude, what's up? You were supposed to get these guys here.
We signed the center from the Ravens.
We signed two centers. We signed Mike Skura, and then we signed Jonathan.
That was he was in the practice squad.
He was. I'm forgetting his first name, but Jonathan something. We signed two centers, and whatever. You know, that's all good. You know,
that's just depth.
Well, we'll see what happens. But anywho, again,
I was happy with the Ingram signing.
He's in the top 10 quarterback MVP. Well, again, I said it. And here's the thing. This is why Tua won't be the MVP. If you look at his numbers alone, just his numbers, and it's easy for Dolphin fans to say MVP because we watch him every game. And you see the great games, you see the good games, and you see the not great games. So you have a total picture, okay? And people say, but look what he did last year. You can't think about last year. It's what have you done for me lately? Oh, but look at game one. What have you done for me lately? Oh, but look last year. What happened when he left the games, and look what the Dolphins did. Again, what have you done for me lately? So it's what he's done this season. If you look at his numbers alone, those are MVP caliber numbers. MVP caliber numbers. But when you watch the team, and especially the guys who are doing the votes for MVP, they're not watching Dolphins on Sunday at 1:00. They're watching Baltimore. They're watching the Cowboys. They're watching the Buffalo Bills. They're watching all those other teams, the Niners. They're not watching Miami. The time they're watching Miami is on prime time. When they're playing against the Chiefs in Germany. When they're playing against the Titans on Monday Night Football, because that's the only game. The Giants there as well was playing on Monday night. But they're watching the Dolphins because the Dolphins are number one offense. That's the time they're watching it. Every time they turn on the TV on prime time when the Dolphins are playing, because they don't have any other choice, the Dolphins shit the bed. Tua shits the bed. So then they look at it and go, that guy's not the MVP. That's why Tua won't win the MVP, because every time the lights are on primetime, the team disappears. They struggle. And in a sense, he struggles because he's a part of the team. And he is the driver of the offense. And when they struggle, he struggles. He's not going to get it. So he's not the MVP. Again, my MVP always is Tyreek. Tyreek Hill is the MVP. Because what was Tua before and what's Tua after Tyreek Hill? That's just what it is. So I don't disagree with you on who the real MVP is of this team. Overall, it's Tyreek. But it is a quarterback award. But because it's a quarterback award, he's not going to win it. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Involve Waddle more, get a pass-catching tight end, red zone. I'm with the pass-catching tight end. I understand, they didn't pass it to Gesicki enough last year. Who are they going to get this year? For me, I'd call Zach Ertz. He's a free agent. Call him one of the best pass-catching tight ends ever. That would help open up your offense a little more. 12-5 for Duke. And again, my original prediction was 11-6. I'm still comfortable with that. I think they're going to end up better than that, but my original prediction was 11-6.
Mine's was 12-5 too. So
you're still good. You're still good.
I still got them losing to the Ravens.
See, that's still, and I think that still could how, because again, if there's any team that when I look at the record and or the schedule, I go, okay, I think Miami is going to beat the Jets. Jets are going to be tough though.
Yeah.
Evan already predicted a loss. Just throwing it
To the
out.
Jets.
He already predicted.
I just think our defense is at a level right now where it's only going to improve, and we're firing on all cylinders. I know Melvin Ingram signing will help us out too.
Melvin Ingram's a good signing. I like that.
So I feel secure with the defense. I'm not, even though with a letdown, I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
If I said this earlier, the fish tank Hank, he called me and we talked about it a little bit, and I told him, again, I'm the same way. You know, I think Baltimore's the team where it's kind of like, oh, that's gonna be the one.
Yeah.
And again, they could lose to any other guys on those days. I'm just saying, if you were to ask me who we were going to lose against, the Ravens would be the next team. But if I had to choose, if I had to pick, Bobby, if you had to pick one loss,
Cowboys.
I would say Cowboys. Let us lose against the Cowboys. Let us beat the Ravens. Let us beat Buffalo. That will help us in the seeding. Imagine if Tua had Tyreek and Kelsey like Mahomes had. Sure, but he has Tyreek and Waddle. But he's only stuck on Tyreek.
That's another thing.
And he has Raheem Mostert, who has 18 total touchdowns, but it's only Tyreek. And is that a Tua problem or is that a McDaniel problem?
But you see, even the Mostert thing, because alone, Mostert, no matter where he plays, he's always been productive. I got to give him that. Schematically, you can argue that it's a win-win situation because Mostert has more ample opportunities due to the fact that Tyreek is the number one receiver. You got Waddle, you got speed everywhere. So the defense has to account for all spots. Now, for example, like the situation with Titans. Titans, you can zero in on Derrick Henry and you just stop the run before they got DeAndre Hopkins. Now they got DeAndre Hopkins, that opens up a little bit more for Derrick Henry. So there's situations where coaching gets you schematically open. Still, Mostert has great vision. And what I love about Mostert is his redirection is amazing. Mostert is so big and strong, yet he can change on the dime. I'm not saying he's Barry Sanders, but he can alter his positioning, and his vision on the open field is amazing, which is also what I love about a chain too, because he has that quality. A chain cuts like I've never seen anybody cut in regards to Tyreek Hill.
My thing with I think a lot of people, again, and I know a lot of Dolphin fans love Raheem Mostert, and they rightly should be, but I do think he's undervalued amongst Dolphin fans.
100%.
And I think if and I don't want to jinx it, but if the Dolphins do go to the Super Bowl, my prediction would be their Super Bowl MVP
is Raheem Mostert. Absolutely.
He would be the one that would be the Super Bowl.
That's the thing with Mike McDaniel.
He's that important.
I feel that he was this game away from at times feeling the necessity and realizing that it's okay to overrun Raheem a little bit, one game or two games. A game like this, you could give Raheem 35 carries if it's working. Like, I feel that he's this lost away from doing that, from making that commitment, where you see a game where the run game is unstoppable and you run the ball 35 times and you only pass it 20. Like, I feel that this loss will catapult that situation where he's always been a good in-game reader and in-game manager.
Hunter, you're not wrong. I understand primetime too, and I understand about the primetime struggles.
Look, this is still a growing process in a team, and I'd rather lose now.
But they're owed one. That's what I'm saying. Yes. We won a game in December, which was Washington.
Yes.
Okay, now we lost one. Dolphins are owed one prime. Once you get that quote-unquote monkey off your back, you win that first primetime game. Just like when we beat our first over 500 team, whatever you want to call it, that's off our back.
We've lost every way possible this year. We've been blown out.
Yeah.
We've had shootouts that end up in a loss. We've had fumbles, make mistakes on offense. We lost the game now defensively, you can argue, and we didn't win it. So we've gone through every situation where we've blown out a team, the Denver Broncos, which could possibly win their division if the Chiefs struggle, which is insane.
Crazy.
So,
and let me just say this. Let me ask you. First off, if you guys are interested, I think it would be really cool for a few minutes at least. Drop the link. You guys can pop in and give us your thoughts on what you thought about the game, what you think about the Dolphins right now. Have you lost hope? Is it just a bump in the road, or is this a sign of things to come? Who do you blame for Monday night's loss? I'd love to hear from you, Alex. If you're cool with that, we could do that. let's drop that again for a few minutes. But I'd love to hear Hunter, Duke, Anthony, anybody wants to come on, hop on. We'll get you in the audio portion of the show, and you could voice your thoughts on this game and going forward for Miami. As we wait on that as it comes through, I want to talk about the playoffs and where we stand right now. Right now, the Dolphins, after losing, of course, they're at the second seed, which is not bad.
You would think that the world is falling apart.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're at the second seed in the AFC, okay? And right now, if the playoffs ended today, they're going against the Indianapolis Colts, okay? And the Colts currently, what is he? Of course, 7-6. They're the 14th best offense, 25th best defense. That's a favorable matchup. I wouldn't hate that going into wild card weekend.
If you didn't know our record, man, if you didn't watch the game, and you just went on Twitter, you thought the Dolphins were eliminated from the playoffs.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like 100%.
So let me just say this. As they're doing that, let's run this through very quick.
Okay. Go.
Okay. So, Justin Herbert out for the season. Sucks for the Chargers. They got to clean house. If you
They're
want
going to fire. Yeah,
if you want to bring out the best in that young quarterback, you need to clean house and get a good coaching staff. So give it to the Raiders. Bengals, Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings, Colts, Steelers, Colts. This is going to be a great game.
I think Frank Reich is going to get hired this offseason.
Get rehired somewhere else?
I think so. And he might take a year off to kind of regroup, kind of like Sean Payton did.
Yeah.
But he didn't get a fair shot in Carolina.
No, he didn't. No, he was – I agree. I know he said this might be the last chapter for him or whatever, and I was like, that kind of sucks because he wasn't a fair shake in Carolina.
At all, man.
Denver versus at Detroit, that's going to be a good game. I can't pick against Detroit, even though I think the Broncos are a team to be reckoned with. Titans, Houston. Houston just came off a huge upset loss.
Oh, man.
But I think Houston comes back and wins that one. I'll go Green Bay. Tommy DeVito must be the coolest name at quarterback. I just love that they're going the whole thing.
They're really playing it out, man.
I love that, dude.
And to me, Daniel Jones, I would find a way either to cut him. I don't even think they can cut him this offseason.
I don't know what they do with him,
money.
But a team that needs a quarterback that doesn't or can't get a draft pick or needs and thinks, hey, I think he'd be worth it. You know, you go ahead and you make a big trade for him, you get him, and you have 3 years of him. You reset your team. Cap for Life is in the house. We'll get him in here. He's just hooking everything up. Let's get him here. Just get his talk, his viewpoints. Cap, my brother, how are you?
Gentlemen, how are you? Ale, Bobby, dímelo.
What's up, brother? Man? How are you, my man?
Oh, man, can't complain. Woke up and breathing, man. And, yeah, just pretty much going through this 48-hour rant. And just my rant has expired. And, we're just on to the Jets.
On to the Jets. No doubt, brother. No doubt. I don't want to bring you back there for but if you could, and then we can move on to the Jets and what you think the Dolphins could do against the Jets and moving forward. Who do you blame for Monday night?
Well, that's a very, very loaded question that we've been trying to dissect the past couple of days. And, I've been asking the percentage on everybody involved. We really don't get a full-blown answer when it comes to percentage. So hopefully I can try to help out here. But let's be honest, like with each other, man. Like 5 minutes left in that game, everybody's praising almost all three phases. You know what I mean? Like the special team gets you a block, and Chubb lands on a ball that fumbles and gets botched on a botched pass in the span of a minute, and you get 14 points out of it. I mean, you get gift-wrapped points. I mean, so for me to say the defense is at fault, no, especially when they got you a pick six also. Correct. So, I mean, the special teams didn't do anything mostly the majority of the season. So to see what happened. You got that also was a gift, like I said. But, I mean, I'm just, McDaniel, I get it. Everybody's upset. But you're complaining about coaching. And I've been harping about this the past 2 days. So hopefully, I'll say it now and it'll be the end of it. But You're going to complain about coaching and what's done in the last couple of minutes, but you've been complaining about coaching the past 3 seasons. And I mean, I thought we got rid of the last guy because of coaching, but yet we're still complaining about it. So for me, McDaniel maybe gets less than 30% of it.
Ooh.
I feel the quarterback, the ball is in his hands the majority of the time, that every time December comes around in this key situations to these type of games. And it's always in his hands, ironically enough, and you don't do anything with it. I mean, I'm not going to blame the coach again for this, man. I mean, I get the O-line's busted too, but I mean, let's be real. Are we going to put a percentage on the O-line? No, they were running the ball. Like I said, the game was given to you. All you had to do was get 2 first downs, and that was up to the quarterback. And I would say maybe it would be 35 Tua, it would be 25 McDaniel, 15% special teams, and then what's left over? I mean, whatever's left over, let's I don't know.
Chris
Let's
Greer.
I don't know. You take it from there. But I mean, it's slim pickings to the point now where even if you give 30% on the quarterback, you're going to get criticized for it. And I think we're at this point in the game right now where, it's all hands on deck, man. Like, everybody's responsible for this, not just the quarterback, but the quarterback has to take some blame.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, for me, I'm not putting it on McDaniel. I'm not putting it on the defense. Man, you got the ball in your hand. I mean, you end up falling and you get sacked.
And you know what? Again, I can't argue that point. I mean, this was one of my things about Tua earlier this season. I always say every year, okay, this was my goal for him this season to kind of overcome whatever in this season was injuries, staying healthy throughout the season, and playing well in December. And because he hasn't done that. And it's December again, and you have that average game. And I agree with Urban. Tua is in that top 10 conversation.
For sure.
But when it comes to these type of situations, he struggles. He struggles. He's not a come up. It's just what it is. And so I can't argue Cap's point. Cap, and just to move on from that though, because a lot of our buddy Evan Finstanza, he said, hey, you know what, McDaniel's a moron. Dolphins are going to lose on next Sunday, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go 9-8. That's something he said to me. And of course, I hope they don't go 9-8 because they're going to have to clean house after that. There's no way you go do it 2 years in a row. And, with this type of roster, as talented as it is, and you fall into the playoffs again. But do you think it's that bad? Do you think the Dolphins are going to lose against the Jets? Do you think they're going to, from 9-4, fall away, they're not win any more games and go 9-8?
I mean, yeah. Before I answer that, if you're going to clean house and then you're going to end up paying a quarterback after you clean house, that's another conversation to have in itself. But I digress. I mean, as far as the Jets, look, with the injuries that accumulated up, and me and Irving were talking about this earlier too. So if Irving's out there, shout out. Hopefully he comes on the panel too. But we were talking about how to fix it as opposed to criticizing.
Correct.
Yeah, that's fine. The coach did what he did, but maybe it's time that the coach starts improvising, starts utilizing the tight ends and the running backs in like a 12-man personnel set.
Correct.
Get Tua out of the pocket in the RPR format that he's been good at doing in college, especially when Chan Gailey had him running out the pocket.
True.
And he was throwing well. Just let's utilize what he can do on the run if we're not going to have Cheetah, God forbid. But you got to have a contingency plan if your best weapons aren't out there. And it'd be nice to see that, especially if, when I'm hearing, the elements are going to be pretty bad in that game. So if that's the case, you got to show what we got in the intermediate game. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It's possible. Don't get me wrong that something can happen and not benefit us, but we got to mix it up, man. Like it's December, man. Like it's time.
It's all hands on deck, and I agree with you, Cap. And the only thing I would add to that, and I think I forgot who made the point in one of the comments, is I'm a big fan of not playing to not lose the game, because even I always use my basketball terms where I in the fourth quarter everything's going to slow down, but I feel a lot of times teams change their complete style of play because they're up a certain amount and they play ultra conservative. Like that whole prevent defense, the only thing I would say is that up 2 scores with 4 minutes left, you can play a little bit more aggressive. You can blitz, because I know you're going to play prevent defense, but you can mix once in a while blitz, a different coverage to still be semi-aggressive and make your presence felt and make it difficult. You can't just let someone march down the field. That's the only thing I would say defensively, because I can't say much without the defensive output we had this game. There's no way we're in this game because the offense was struggling, like you mentioned. Tyreek went down. Our running game was still strong, and towards the end of the game, we used it, but they were struggling throughout the game. They were struggling. They should not have been struggling against the opponent that they were struggling against. Granted, Titans are a very physical team, but still, talent-wise, we overshadowed them completely. So there's situations where the defense stepped up completely, and it's a mix of things, like you said. Ideally, unfortunately, it's always going to fall on the quarterback, win or lose, because the game ended with the ball in his hands. So that optics alone is going to drive people towards the Tua scenario where he can't make it, he can't overcome, he can't do this. So hopefully it's a learning moment, but I don't see us at all going 9-8. I
Ale,
really
what's
don't see
irritating
us.
for me, Ale, is 3 years in a row, the same scenario, same
Yeah,
time frame,
yeah,
same outcome.
yep,
I mean, let's just be real, bro. After a
yeah.
while, what we're gonna wait till the 4th year to say, oh, maybe it's the quarterback.
No. Yeah, I get you. I get the frustration there.
We got a Spider-Man in the house. Let's get him in here. Spider-Man, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Irving, by the way.
Irvin,
What's
there
up,
you
In
go.
the chat. Yeah, what's going on, dudes? What's going on?
Welcome aboard,
Nah,
man.
man. I think Cap, what he said, I think it's been pretty. I think he's been on the money. I think I think we need Tua. If we want to get to where we want to be, I think Tua needs to be better in those situations, especially those 2 minute situations. He was put in that position against the Chiefs, obviously in this game. If we're really expecting, to pay him $55 million a year, and we're really thinking that we can win a Super Bowl with this guy, I just think he needs to be better in those situations. There's no excuses, even though I think he is a top 10 quarterback, and I like the guy. When he plays with that confidence, he's one of the best. But in those situations that I just talked about, he needs to be better and play with confidence and just don't think about what could happen, just attack. You know what I'm saying? So I think if he could do that, and finish strong in December, beat these teams coming up, I think he can get back into the MVP conversations and be able to get this Dolphins team, the number one seed in the AFC. So, like I said, I think he just needs to play better. But I think again, we got to understand we are asking him to do a lot, especially with 4 of his starters out of the lineup. And when any quarterback plays with 4 backups, it's going to be less than ideal. So I just think that, like I said, I think Mike McDaniel needs to maybe not over depend on Tua, maybe focus more on the running game. I think Cap brought up the 12 personnel and all, bring maybe 3 tight ends at one point. And just be physical, maybe mix a little bit of that outside zone stuff with a little bit of running between the tackles. Get the defenses to really bite, respect the run, maybe put a safety in the box, get the linebackers to creep in on the line of scrimmage. And maybe when you have an opportunity where we have a single high safety and you got mostly receivers guarding on an island because they're so worried about the run game, that's when maybe where you take your shot. So I think maybe we just got to be more balanced and more leaning towards the run game. And I think we have the guys in-house. We got Jeff Wilson Jr., we got Chris Brooks if he comes back from injury. We got A-Chain, we got Mostert who's balling right now. And I think, and this is playoff time, right? This is the time where defenses start getting physical and play up close. So we got to make them respect us. And I think focusing more on the running game, smashing them in the mouth, hitting them in the mouth, I think that's going to be key to winning these football games, bro, because these defenses is not going to get easier, as the schedule goes on.
When you just mentioned that, it was one wrinkle I'm very interested to see if he pulls out, where we have more of the double running backs in the game at the same time, where you have a chain and most in at the game.
Yeah.
I really want to see what he can do with that, because you can maximize both of them, and you can even open up your pass game. You can open up everything up. So I want to. I have a feeling against the Jets, he's going to unleash some of that shit.
I agree. Like that wheel route that I think it was a streak route or a wheel route that A-Chain was running, and Tua almost got him. If he didn't hit the corner, he would have caught that and probably would have been gone for a touchdown.
That's what I
Yeah.
said. We were a
But
play away, man.
Oh,
We were like
dude.
one or two plays, bro. One or two plays away
yeah,
from it being like a 21,
yeah,
28 point game. So that's the difference in optics. When unfortunately it happens, but
mm,
you got to deal with it.
yeah, yep, for sure. But I think, like I said, you be more balanced. And if anything, if you don't want your offensive line being asked to guard, block guys on an island where they're at a point of disadvantage and they got to be pushed into the quarterback's pocket, do some run blocking and set up the play action. Maybe set up some maybe try to sell the run with a pulling guard and try to get Tua out of the pocket, in motion or whatever, a rollout, etc. To try to maybe move the pocket while he moves with the shifts and stuff. Try to get a little bit creative so you could take the pressure off the offensive line and off of Tua, because I think Tua does like to throw when he's on the run. So
He
in
does,
those
and he
designs, so yeah,
excels at it.
Good
He
at it,
excels
bro.
at it.
yeah,
And
he does, yeah.
was one thing that gives me
Yeah,
comfort
and
is
to
that.
your point, Irving, remember we were saying earlier, like, go ahead, sorry,
Mhm.
go ahead.
No. Finish, Cap. Don't worry about it, man. You're a guest, man.
No,
You're
no,
a
I was just to
guest.
Irving's point, like, yeah, like it's funny that Irving brought that up because we were saying it too. Like, if we know Connor's going to be out, they're going to attack the middle. Have him
Yep.
come out the pocket if he's not going to be able to withstand 2.3. Like, if
Mhm.
he can't get rid of it after 2.3, dale. That's
Gone.
it.
Mhm.
Gone.
But yeah, man, like, Ale, Bobby, your thoughts on that question, because I'm curious to know myself.
One thing that this is solace for me in comparisons to other years. I know you mentioned other years. I believe our
Mhm.
defense is at a state where our offense does not have to perform at 100% perfection, because the last couple of years, even last year, if offensively we weren't producing, there was no shot at us whatsoever. There was no shot for us in that game. Defensively, we are exactly where we thought we would be when we started the year with Fangio and our personnel getting healthy and Jalen Ramsey coming back, Javon Holland getting healthier. So I know we're looking offensively what we can do differently, but I feel this fourth game stretch, our defense might carry us some of those games and lead us where our offense, even if it's struggling a bit, does not have to do as much because our defense is going to be stout going against these opponents. Obviously, the number one test is the Cowboys. The Cowboys' offense is very efficient, but the Jets, we shouldn't have any issues whatsoever defensively against them. The Ravens is going to give you issues. Obviously, the Bills are going to be competitive, but I feel that defensively we're going to surprise some people these next coming games, because I understand the Titans are a pedestrian offensive team right now. The way we perform against them, just statistically speaking, and even the optics, you take away those last 3 minutes of the game, and the defense played almost a perfect game. So
I
I
agree,
really feel,
100%.
the defense is going to
Yeah,
carry us.
right,
And
right.
Cincy Tech
Well,
sounds like
I just
again,
think.
go ahead.
Mhm. No, I was just gonna say real quick to piggyback off of Alex's point. I think most of the game they played a pretty good stout game. I just think it's those last 2 minutes that they just got too finesse, right?
yes,
They got way too laid back. They started playing
Yep.
that prevent stuff, and they let the Titans gash them underneath, and that's especially in those situations. But okay, if you didn't blitz earlier in the game, the time was to blitz them at that point in those final two
yes,
drives, especially that
yes,
the
man.
Titans don't have a good offensive line. Like Will Levis was one of the most sacked quarterbacks. So I think that's what we need to work on in those two final drives is just don't get don't get laid back. Just
No,
be
and that's on
aggressive
Fangio.
and attack
That's on
all game
Fangio
long.
too.
And just to follow that up, and Alex asked me earlier, why that happened when the defense was playing a nearly perfect game. I mean, and Kat brought it up where you had the fumble, you had the muffed, the fumble and with the punt, and then you had the bad toss back, handoff, where you want to call it, to Derrick Henry, and then 14 points up. I mean, or 14 points up.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How does your team just all of a sudden drop 14? Your defense all of a sudden gets so laid back, lenient. What happened with Miami and Baltimore last year when Miami made that big comeback. Baltimore got lenient, and that's kind of what happened here. They started playing that prevent defense, and it sucks because both the offense and the defense at that point were laid back. The offense played too conservative when they should have been aggressive and making a strong play. Stay running the ball, let the time run out. The defense stopped being aggressive and they started being like, "Oh, let's just play it safe." And the Titans took advantage of that. And it's a lesson to be learned. That's why, again, I understand. I hate, and I'm not a fan of and I said this earlier, of gatekeeping fans. I don't believe in people telling somebody how to fan. You fan any way you want. If you're pissed off at the team, be pissed off at the team. If you're okay in the world, hey, we're gonna get through it. Great. But it's like for me, it's like, look, it's not the end of the world. We're 9-4. We're the first in the AFC East, the first in the AFC, the number 1 offense in football, the number 9 defense right now currently. And Miami has not lost consecutive games. So do I think they're going to lose against the Jets? I don't. But would I be shocked? No, I wouldn't either, because they can't have this performance against a Jets football team that's in your division, top 5 defense in the NFL. They can't do it. The offense needs to come out and they need to do well, whoever is in front of Tua. And Tua is right now, he's the franchise quarterback. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's not fair to put everything on him, but it's like somebody said in the past, it starts and ends with the quarterback. And it
comes with the territory. And you know what bothers me the most now too is, we were having this debate Saturday night about, the Bills or the Chiefs, who should win. And I kept telling everybody, I'm like, look, yeah, you can have your opinion, but I really think, like, let's just lock down the AFC East, have them lose, I get them out of the picture, and we don't have to worry about these other hypotheticals coming up with them now, because, they're still in it. Like, if they wouldn't be in it, we would be the AFC champs right now. So, now we have to deal with that headache of hypotheticals with their fan base. And it's like, it is what it is. They did what they needed to do. They won. And we're doing the complete opposite. So the magic number's still at 3. So which is not bad, but man, you just got to tighten up.
Cap, I'd love to ask you this, and then I would love to follow it up with Irvin. And again, if there's really no wrong answer, it's whatever you believe. And right now, for Tua, because I saw it brought up earlier, I think in the comments, but would you be comfortable giving him an extension?
Look, we were just talking about this on Big Philly's podcast, me and Irving earlier, so it's kind of ironic that this is the...
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
we weren't listening, I swear.
Look, there's a bunch of options being thrown on the table. Obviously he's going to get paid, but if you're looking to be the safe route, you go the Kirk Cousins route, you do the franchise tag if necessary. You don't want to go past 50. Obviously, you're going to have to, but if you're worried about paying everybody else and he's willing to take the cut, that's a different conversation to have. But to get Daniel Jones kind of money, it's not going to happen. This guy got a new agent in the offseason, and they're dogs. So they're going to want more than what we're going to offer for sure. And if I was him, I wouldn't take a pay cut after the crap we gave him. So, let's just be real here. We're looking at least more than Watson type of money. And I think he got like $60 million a year. And, and it got played out throughout the season. I think one year he took like $1 million, but, the bulk of it was guaranteed. So, if you want to say 50, if things don't work out this year, I say you pay him year by year because you're going to keep him anyway. But, if he produces, man, you got to be right because everybody else is getting money. You got to go past 50. If he gives you if he gets you past the second round, granted, if you want to get to the second round, that is what it is. But, he's proven that he's healthy at that point. He's not hurt. You got it to the second round. It is what it is at this point. And it's just a situation where, just take care of the ball, man. Take care of the ball, and we don't have to be in this scenario. Like, we're here to support you, but you got to give us something in return. We just can't get back 10 fumbles, 10 interceptions, and then you lose the ball in key situations, and you take hits in key situations, and you hold on to the ball in key situations. It's like, we're here to help you, man. We're going to be there for you, but you got to give us something, man, especially in December where that's your Achilles heel.
Fair point. Irvin, what do you think, man?
I think I gotta agree with most of what Cap said. Yeah, bro. Of course, health is a key, and I think he's done a great job. He's taken measures to try to limit the possibility of injury. And I think he's done a good job of that so far. I think me and Cap, we talked about it before. Like, I think everything that we've had questions about him in terms of the deep ball or can he, put a team on his back, blah, blah. I think he's answered those questions, right?
Yeah, check mark.
Yeah, he's checkmarked. He's checkmarked those boxes. So, but, the question remains, can he win us a playoff game? Can he take us into a deep playoff run? And can he win us a Super Bowl eventually? Because that's the goal. That remains to be seen. But we're kind of in a weird position that, he is going into his 5th year, right, next year. And are we really going to pay him $23 million, right? It's cheap, but it's a huge cap hit for 1 year. And I'm like, well, you put yourself in a position as the Dolphins. I'm like, well, okay, obviously it would help us fiscally to get us out of that number. But then again, like, Tua, like, Cap went out, like, Tua did change agents and stuff, and he's going to be aggressive. He wants to get paid. He feels like he's turned his career around, that he's put up numbers that are comparable to top 10 quarterbacks in this league, and he's been consistent since McDaniel was brought into the building. Like, everything went up, right? Like, his passing yards per game, touchdowns, completion percentage, touchdown percent, etc. Like, all the numbers, he's top 5 in. So if from that point of view, yeah, he deserves to get paid the money, right? Definitely deserves to get paid way more than what Daniel Jones is. But does he deserve that Justin Herbert money? Well, maybe not Justin Herbert, but does he deserve that maybe Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow money?
Yeah.
I'll save off. I'll hold my position on that. Like, I have to see more. But does he deserve to get maybe paid 45, 50? Yeah, I think he's done enough to do that.
Well, here, and this is not a question to knock or anything else, Mike. This, because you talked about getting us to Super Bowl, and this is the thing. Do you think, Irvin, and then Cap, you could follow up, and then Alex, you could follow up as well. But Irvin first. I'm not going to say bad. I'm not going to say average, because he's not either one of those. But good, great, elite. Where is he for you? Is he a good quarterback, a great quarterback, or elite quarterback?
For me, I don't think he's an elite quarterback. Not yet. I think he's like good to great. I would say top 10-ish, around there.
Okay. Cap?
No, he's good, man. I mean, if you're considered good, I mean, that's good, but it's not great.
All right, Alex.
I think he's great, and the level of to reach elite is minimize the turnovers. And even though you're playing to his strengths, one thing that they alluded to, one of his strongest suits is throwing out of the pocket, throwing on the run. And I feel they maximize that and they open up the offense, because he's always going to be judged based on his surroundings. Now, forever, we're going to judge Tua with Tyreek. Like, that's going to be the number one for a conclusion. And it does take away, I think, times of Tua, because you can say the same thing of Tyreek hasn't put up numbers like that with Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek has put up numbers like that with Tua. So those are comparisons that you can use, but he's great, middle tier great, and he's definitely top 10 quarterback in the NFL, but he still has a few steps to reach that elite level if he ever reaches it. But I think he's great.
So for me, and with Cap, I say it's good to great. He's a good quarterback, but he could play great. I think there's things that stop him from being elite. Elite is somebody who could lead your team, but by himself. But I will say, again, he doesn't have to be elite to go to the Super Bowl. He doesn't even have to be great. Good can get you to the Super Bowl, because your defense is top 10. Your offense is number 1. It has to come together. As Cap has said, and Irvin said it too. I mean, and that's the thing. I don't think nobody's saying anything, saying, "Oh, he's terrible." It's all, dude. He has to fix those mistakes. He has to protect the football. He has to protect himself. That run, and he tried to run in, and he didn't slide. He got freaking smashed. I got nervous. My chest jumped. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, and then real quick, there was one point in the game as well. Like, he had an opportunity to scramble and run for the first down, and instead of keep running for the first down, he throws across his body to the middle of the field. I forgot who the receiver was, and almost got, like, what are you doing to it? Like, just run it. Like, sometimes, like, when he's in the heat of a moment, sometimes, and he has to do things. Sometimes, like, his decision making, his internal clock sometimes speeds up, and his decision making is not always there. You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that he needs to work on. When he's under pressure.
Those are the mental errors. And again, this is what I say.
Which is why I don't mind. That's why I don't mind when he does get hit like that, because I feel sometimes we take away of an athlete.
You will mind if he's out for the season.
No, yeah, I understand, but I still want my quarterback to not, because that's the reason sometimes he might second guess himself running on an open spot like that, because I know he doesn't know how to slide well. But I don't knock it if it's 1 or 2 times. Now, if it happens every single time, of course, you got to teach your quarterback to slide, protect yourself, protect your team.
But it
I don't
seems
mind
like
if it's
what
1 or 2
happens
times.
is when the play breaks down and the
Yeah.
guy he's supposed to is not there, like Irvin was just saying, he was rolling
Mhm.
out. He could have ran for the first down, but then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he throws across his body. I mean, it's like, dude,
He tries to go for
was
the
that?
home run play every time. You don't have to do a home run play every time.
just play, play it safe. Throw the ball out of bounds before you get hit, or run out, get the first down, run out of bounds so nobody hits you and get it over with. But there's those little things where it's like, again, the difference between good, great, and elite. And again, my point was at the end of that game or before that final minute where, they got 14 points and now we're down by 1 point. You got a minute and some odd seconds. And really, you shouldn't be nervous as a Dolphins fan because you're going, dude, we have the best receiver in the NFL. We have the number 1 offense. We should be able to go down and knock out this defense. But you've been watching the game. You realize what's going on. You look at Will Levis. You see the fire in his eyes. Again, you look at Tua, and to me, it was just – but then you look at Dan Marino, and Marino had a fire in his. I was like, God dang, dude. If we could put Marino's damn fire in Tua, then you could say it's elite. I didn't see that at the end there. But
Hey,
I just
Bobby,
want
I
to
forgot. You live in Tennessee, man. What's the vibe over there?
Man, I had to hear all that bull crap, dude. I almost called out of work. I joked with my boss. I said, I was like, cough, can't come in. She's like, yeah, right, get in here. I'm like, damn. Because the day before they all come to me, you ready to watch the Dolphins kick our ass? And then I was like, hey, dude, stop saying that. You're gonna jinx us, dude. Just leave it alone. Kept telling people that. So the next day, as soon as I come in, they were like waiting for me in the front of the door. As soon as I came in, I was like, oh shit. So to hear all of that, man, it was they're happy here. Obviously, they think they got their franchise quarterback. And again, he did really well for himself. I mean, he's shown bright spots. So, but yeah, I had to hear it. I haven't heard the end of it yet. But what I loved is, again, the names I want to read off here, and I'm not saying he's these guys, but I just want to say this because when people go, oh, he's not great, he's not elite, we can't extend him or we can't do this. These are the quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, and I'm not going to go through all the elite guys, but I'm going to say some of these names. Trent Dilfer, Baltimore Ravens.
Defense.
Brad Johnson, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Game manager.
Defense.
Right? Would you say Eli Manning's elite?
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I would.
You would say Eli Manning's elite?
Bro, he beat Tom Brady twice, has 2 Super Bowls, and the Giants pretty much are what the Jets want at that point in time. I mean, like, how many times did the Jets try to get there? They couldn't get there. And
I think it was more of a team game, but I won't argue with you.
No, I mean, look, you can't go wrong either way because, yeah, that front four for them, with all those guys, that defensive line, I mean, it was stellar too. I mean, but crap, man, Eli Manning, who thought would do it not once, but did it twice in the second time. He did it with authority, bro.
Oh, give him his flowers, dude. I'm not saying he's trashing it, but I'm saying, like, he's not, like, to me, he wasn't an elite quarterback. I mean, he's not his brother.
Yeah, of course. He was getting dogged left and right, but, I mean, he's got the hardware, man.
Oh, for sure, dude.
But you see, Bobby, leadership-wise, you were talking about fire in your eyes and all that.
That was the question at hand with him, yeah.
Tua is similar to Eli in the way he leads.
That's
Very
right.
similar.
That's fair.
So that's
I agree with that, yeah.
I think he's got a higher ceiling than those guys.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
I think
he's got franchise quarterback potential. No, I understand. I get it. But you don't need to. I get it. You don't always need to have an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I totally agree. But I think Tua has a higher ceiling than those guys. But I get what you're saying.
Funny thing, Bobby, I'm going to talk real quick because I want to get their point of views. To me, ceiling for me, Tua, I always thought of like Steve Young, like that kind of concept. What is your ceiling, Cap and Spider, for Tua? Like the best that you think he could be, because we know what he is.
I mean,
what do you think?
Comp wise, I think he could be that Drew Brees, Steve Young, like you mentioned, ish. Yeah, I think that's his ceiling.
Man, oh man, that's a good question, man. I mean,
because he has a stronger arm than Brees.
He does.
That's the thing, and more accurate.
But Brees is elite.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's got the mechanics when it comes to throwing inside the pocket.
Rex Grossman, that's a good one. He didn't win the Super Bowl, but that's a good one too.
I mean, he kind of reminds me of Rust. He has a little bit of Rust, but then he has a little bit of freaking of Brees also.
Yeah.
it's just difficult to explain, bro, because of the body type he has. Because his release is kind of different from it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I mean, the comps for me, yeah. I mean,
I see the Russell body comparison.
You know what
He's
I'm
a little
saying?
bit taller than Russell.
I don't know, man. That's a good one, man.
I think Steve
I don't
Young's
think
a
he has
little
the.
rich. I think Steve Young's a little rich, but I would say Russell Wilson, Drew Brees is a good kind of comp in regards of the type of quarterback he could be or what he should be, if we want to say that. Ronald McDonald's and two is a Derek Carr Russ hybrid. There you go.
I mean, you're not wrong. They got the numbers.
It's true. It's true.
Say what you will about Carr, but he's got the
Derek Carr's not a
Carr was good in his prime. He was good. He was good Pro Bowl quarterback, bro. Like
he was.
But that's the thing, right? Like, but that's my point. Like, don't get me wrong. We all, because he's the franchise quarterback, we're gonna hammer. We're gonna say, dude, he needs to do this, and he has to fix that because that shit could cost you a game. But at the same time, look, he doesn't need to be elite. He doesn't have to be great. He just has to do his job. You got the weapon.
Right.
That's my only thing. And I will say, look, and you know, we're talking about Steve Young, whatever. For me, and this is what I said, and I'm not comparing them, but I was like, because I hear that word game manager, and I think Dan Avalowski said that today or something. It was like that people are acting like it's a bad word. Obviously,
no, it's not.
I don't think it is. To me, Tua is obviously not just a game manager. He can do better than that. But what was my thing, Alice? I said, hey, be what Chad Pennington was. What Pennington was back in the day. Protecting the football, no turnovers, getting the ball to where it needed to be. Exactly.
Right.
Remember who Randy Moss's quarterback in college was? That got Randy Moss. It was Chad Pennington.
True.
So that's what I'm saying. Like Kirk Cousins, a game manager.
Kirk Cousins is an elite game manager.
He is, and no doubt. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to be elite, great, or whatever. You just have to do your job. Just be good, protect the ball, dude. And we have a great defense that's growing, that's getting better. I mean, they sucked this last game, or the ending sucked.
The ending only.
And then the number one offense in football with a lot of talent. Run the damn ball. Yeah. Do your job. Pennington had a strong arm. I don't know about that, Ralph.
No, man.
That's crazy. You're reaching. You're reaching.
No cap. That's cap, bro. That's cap.
Cap, any final thoughts for you, brother?
No, man. Like I said, man, I got through my 48-hour rant. Like I said, we move forward. Let's try to help the coaching staff and the team to try to implement different ideas of how to help. Even though they say they don't listen to us, I think at this point in time they can take what they can get. So I mean, like, let's just try to help out and if we're gonna do this moving forward, let's just just make sure, man, that when we talk with each other, man, moving forward, because a lot of gatekeeping's been going on, like Bobby said. Let's just try to if I understand people want to be heard, but at the same time, people got to listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Exactly.
100%.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Well, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys, man. Ali, Bobby, Irving, man, I'm gonna catch up with you guys, man. Let's get this dub, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, Cap. Later, my brother.
Irvin, man, I appreciate you hopping on, brother. I hope it's not the last time. Any final thoughts?
Nah, man, just to piggyback on what Cap said, we're all upset about what happened against Tennessee. Another Monday night meltdown, and second one in Dolphins history. But again, you can't over-focus on that. It's on to the next week, and hopefully we can use this Monday night as kind of like a baseline to try to learn from it, as a lesson to kind of learn from it and grow, and use this, moving forward, using this to our advantage, learn from our mistakes, and hopefully we can, find some success. And it starts with the Jets, bro. The road to where we want to be starts to the Jets, and that's where we got to look forward to. So that's all I got to say.
All right, Irvin, man. Thank you so much, dude. We'll talk later on, my man.
Hey, you're welcome, man. Thanks for having me on, my brother. All right.
Sure, bro. Later, my man.
Later.
Irvin and Cap, great to have them on. And again, look, I just want to say this very quick, and I appreciate those guys coming on. Great conversation. I want to say, again, it's not over. It's not the end.
We're 9-4.
9-4, and guess what? We're still the second seed. If next week plays out the way it does, again, the big game, obviously, Dolphins have to do their job. They got to beat the Jets. If they lose to the Jets, it's just going to be extra fire for everybody.
If we would have gotten blown out by Titans at home Monday night, you're like, shit. But we lost that game. We didn't get beat.
The Dolphins, listen, the Jets, that what sucks is the Titans tried to give up that game. They tried to give us the win.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins kind of like, no, take it back. You can have it.
Yeah, here you go.
You guys earned it.
I'm not going to sack you. I won't touch you.
But here's a major game for next week. Jacksonville, Baltimore at Jacksonville. That's going to be huge for Dolphin fans.
Yeah.
Because if the Dolphins beat the Jets and Jacksonville beats the Jags,
We're back.
the Dolphins are back in the number 1 spot. Dolphins beat the Jets and they lose to the Jags. The Baltimore beats the Jags, and the Dolphins lose to the Jets. The Dolphins stay in the 2nd seed. No, I'm sorry. Baltimore beats the Jags. Dolphins beat the Jets. Dolphins stay at the 2nd seed. If Baltimore wins and Dolphins lose, if Kansas City wins, which they play Patriots, so we assume they will, Dolphins fall to the 3rd seed. But let's say it all goes, let's say Baltimore loses, Dolphins stay at the 1st seed.
But I'm going to change my prediction, man. I have us winning out.
No,
I have us finishing 13-4.
Stop it, Alex.
Yes, sir.
You're the opposite of Evan.
I feel it, man. I feel it.
I feel it in my fingers. You know what? Can I tell you something? Because I looked up something. Let me tell you why you might be right.
I felt it when you said it. The way they responded after losses.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So, if I go back, so they beat the Chargers, beat the Patriots, beat the Broncos 70-20. They blow out the Broncos. Then they get blown out by the Buffalo Bills. After that, they beat the Giants, Panthers.
This is true right here.
Then they lost to the Eagles.
This is true right here.
They should have. Absolutely. Absolutely, they should have. Good punt return, though, to finish the game. I mean, and they won. I know. Jacksonville beat Ravens, not possible. Hey, things happen, Ronald McDonald. Titans beat the Dolphins, not possible. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened, bro? So, Eagles beat, so Dolphins win 2 there, lose to Baltimore. Lose to Philadelphia. Beat the Patriots, lose to the Chiefs. Beat the Raiders, Jets, Commanders, lose to the Titans. So if every time they've lost, they've won. It hasn't been 2 consecutive losses. So they go 10-4 here. You're good. As long as you get that 1 or 2 more wins, you get that with that 11 column. And again, 4 straight wins would be great. Amazing. Best. But realistically, if you look, Cowboys, Ravens, Buffalo. Buffalo beat us already, but this time it's at home. And again, when you lose to a team the first time, you usually beat them the second time. And I believe Miami will win that game. Cowboys, Ravens would be great. Be 2 great games. Hopefully, all I hope is that it's a game. I don't want to get blown out like the Buffalo game. I don't want to lose like the freaking Chiefs game. I want to fight. I want to, I want it to go down. But if Miami could at least win 2 of the next 4, 11-6, or obviously 3 of the next 4, that'd be great. But we'll see. Again, guys, it's not the end. Don't think of it as the end. And again, but it's going to end because of our quarterback. And again, he doesn't have to be elite. He doesn't have to be great.
No.
Good is good enough. He just has to protect the ball, and our coach has to call the right plays in the final 2 minutes. If Tua's not that guy to lead your team down the field, if he's not that guy to win you from behind, then you need to call the right plays to make him that guy. You need to call the right plays to put him in position to be that guy. Use Raheem Mostert. Use Devon Achane. Use Tyreek and Jalen. You have all these weapons at your disposal. Don't call boneheaded plays that even the average fan, the armchair quarterback, is looking out there on the chair going, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Even I know better. Don't get cute. Just win the game. And that's it. All right. I didn't want to end the show without talking about some Heat. I did want to talk about that because there's been no fast break. And, so I do want to talk some Heat very quick. Heat did win tonight. What a game. 115, 104. They're 14-10 on the season. The leading scorer for tonight's game was Duncan Robinson, 23 points. Jimmy had 15. Kyle Lowry had 17 points. Our boy Jaime, 17. Jamal Cain, 14 points. Yeah. So, hey, man, I know I'm talking about this all week, but now I got I'm invested in it in regards to Jaime. So I want to talk about Jaime, dude.
Go ahead, man.
My brother, come on. What is that dude? Not the real deal or what?
He's like I mentioned, like we talked about last show. I forgot when we talked about it, and we just talked about it today off air. He has made himself an untradeable piece because you're not going to move him, and you're not going to move him for absolutely anybody right now. He is a cornerstone for this franchise, alongside with Bam, in the in the tweener between, he's actually your connection between the Jimmy era and the post Jimmy era, because he is the more offensive, talented version of Jimmy. He is a complete player. His shooting has improved drastically, and he was always a decent shooter, but his numbers are improving. You can say he's a product of the culture of his teammates, etc. But he's just a hooper, man, and he. This is the invaluable part. This is the valuable part of being a 4-year starter at UCLA facing tough competition, because his footwork is elite. I think he has the best footwork this whole rookie class. Obviously, if you redo the draft, you're still going to go Wembayama and Scoot for sure. But you can say that Jaime is either the second or the third best rookie this year alone, because I'm not counting Chet. Chet Holmgren was a rookie last year. I know he's a rookie technically this year. But of this draft class, Jaime is the most complete player. He was the most complete, ready player to affect winning plays, because when Bayama's a stud, yeah, amazing. But obviously that team is not ready. That team is still not ready. That's look like the Pistons. The Pistons have lost 20 games in a row. Those are teams that are rebuilding. So you see that. But Jaime, you can argue, is in the best. Would he be successful elsewhere? Yeah. But would he
Sure.
be as successful as he is here? No. Because he's
Well,
in the
that's my thing.
perfect spot
He
for
wouldn't
him.
be used. Yeah, I think when they noticed what they saw as soon as first off when they had him in camp, and then when they had him now, I think they noticed, hey, we need to have this guy involved. And like I told
Absolutely.
you before the draft and after we drafted him, this guy's a guy who's going to contribute right away. He doesn't play like a rookie. He plays like a veteran. He already has that player NBA player build.
Yeah.
I mean, who was the guy that you were talking about to me before? Keontae George,
Larry Johnson. Oh, what do you mean for this year's draft?
yes.
Oh,
Like,
the player that I loved, if it wasn't like, for example, if it was a situation where Jaime wasn't there, would be Keontae George from the Jazz.
So
I love him.
Yeah, so for me, it's like what you look at him. There's players like that where you go, yeah, they could probably contribute off the bench. They could contribute, and little by little. They don't have the build yet. They don't have that. And I look at players like how they transcend to quote unquote heat culture.
Yeah,
that guy fit that. And right now, I just want to look at the NBA rookie ladder, or they call it rookie.
And he
surged the top 4.
Oh, yeah.
He is.
He's marketable.
That's what I'm saying.
Funny.
He could legitimately be the first ever true Mexican American superstar in the NBA.
He's a Hispanic in a Hispanic market.
I'm
telling you, man. The only other option would have been perfect for him was a team in Texas or a team in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. He could have done great in LA, could have done it in Dallas or San Antonio, but he fits perfect in Miami. But especially he would have fit great in San Antonio as well with Greg Pop. But in Miami, the Heat hit a freaking diamond in the rough. Right now averaging 12 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And he was picked 18. Think about that.
He's going to be all rookie first team. He's going to probably enter the slam dunk contest. He's probably going to win the slam dunk contest.
Dude, I would love to see that.
He might win an NBA Finals his rookie year. So there are things that this kid, and I see it.
I sent you that. You saw what Rose said, right?
Yeah. I saw it.
It's true, though. I told you. Didn't we say about that last week or the last episode? We said this guy is going to be what Bam is. When you say, Bam's untouchable, Jaquez is untouchable.
And you have...
That's your future right there. Those two guys is right there.
You have the possibility. And like I said, do I still believe Jovic will develop into a piece that can play alongside them? Absolutely, 100%. I see the blueprint there. Could he be moved some way, somehow, for another star that wants to come to Miami? Absolutely, I see that too. The players that I don't see being moved at all is Bam and Jaquez. And I do genuinely believe that this is going to be the mold of the Denver Nuggets championship contender build.
It's the next two of, what do you call this? It's the heir apparent of Wade and Haslam, in my opinion.
Correct.
When I think, and I'm not saying Jaquez is Haslam, or that he's compared to Haslam. He's a better offensive player, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean longevity. You build the teams around them. That's what it reminds me of.
And watch when Hero comes back. Watch when Bam comes back. Bam's gonna miss probably until late December. Like, they're being smart with this because they're playing winning basketball. Orlando Robinson is getting amazing playing time, and he's ready. Orlando Robinson is your backup 5. There's obviously when you got Kevin Love, but with Bam, I would prefer Orlando Robinson over Thomas Bryant any day because he adds another physicality level. He's very quick. He switches well. He's learning the game still. But I can see this team, the blueprint alone. The blueprint alone.
I just saw your text messages right You're such an ass.
the blueprint alone in regards to people always go for the home run hit and we got to do this, we got to do that. When you have a team like Miami that their scouting department and their front office is so good at what they do, and that is identifying talent, developmental talent as well in the Duncan Robinson. Like Duncan Robinson, look at the example of Duncan Robinson. People talk about, he reinvented his game. Yeah, he's done a few things differently, but all Duncan Robinson did is starting to play like he played before he became a member of the Heat when he was playing in the D-League. Duncan Robinson has always had this talent. The number one thing that he faced, and he's talked about it, he even went to sports psychologist. When he got his big contract and he lost his role to Max Strus, it starts getting in the mental. This is what people do not realize. And this is the importance of coaching. The reason I always compare McDaniel to Tua. The mental aspect of an athlete. When you get to know an athlete, you unleash the person. You unleash the athlete. I'm sorry, when you get to know the person, you unleash the true athlete. That's one thing that people don't realize. But people, I know there's different types of coaching.
Cafecito and chill.
And chill. That's awesome.
I got that from my coworker Nancy at work. She got that for me for Christmas.
That's
nice,
man.
I love this. This is my new East 10th Street Boys
That's
shirt.
a nice coworker, man. You see? Not all of them are bad. What's up, Tammy? We appreciate it. It's okay. We forgive you this time.
Cuban time. We appreciate it.
She's on real Cuban time.
That's legit Cuban time.
She's and that's true, by the way. When a part we've gone away from some of the things, we have to go back to it. Like our traditions, like our word of the day or something like that, or
yes.
That's a very Cuban thing, Latin thing. Like if the party, like every time they would tell me, the party starts at 8, but I'm not showing up until 9:30. Like the party at 8, you're still setting up and shit. Like if you have a birthday party and you go to a Cuban birthday party and they tell you, the party's between 4, like the party starts at 4, they're done setting up like at 4:30. Like the food hasn't even arrived. Like they're still setting up the tables, they're still putting the tablecloths. So if they invite you to a party at 4, be there at 5:30. That's when the party gets good. Like that's when the food is there, so the chips are popping, everything starts popping there.
Trust me, it's like I'm going there. What is it? I'll be there Friday. Oh, good, you guys will be here Friday, all right? It's like in the morning, afternoon, midnight. You guys coming? Yeah, we're on our way now. Oh shit! It's like Cuban time, boy. That boy ain't kidding, boy. That boy showed up Cuban time. Where are you? We're hiking in a bottomless lake. There's no waterfall. I could have told you that, you douche. Sitting here, my kids are looking out the window like a bunch of lost children.
We should have identified, but my wife saw the waterfall and she wanted to go see it. And then as we're walking by, she's like, "We should have pictured it because it was a drought. Like there's no water going in the stream." I'm like, "What are we going to?" And I even jokingly told them, like, "We're gonna get just like a little drip, bloop bloop bloop." We hiked for like an hour and a half. We almost died, and we get there. It's just like a drainage, like bloop bloop, and I'm like, "This is awesome. This is amazing." Hey, Bob, we're on our way, okay, man?
Yeah, that's right. We could have told you that, dude. We're in a big drought.
Long walk up a hill, bro.
Oh, that's funny. No,
it was crazy. I didn't even notice you're wearing. I was about to wear that hat today to the show. I was about to wear my teal hat.
Yeah, but I was so excited when I got this shirt. And yes, you can get it on Amazon.
That's awesome.
Cafecito and chill. We had what they call Secret Santa. So I saw that shirt and I was like, "Oh, I want that shirt." I had some other things I had down there, but this is really what I wanted. And so when I didn't tell her, you don't tell them that's what you want. Yeah. I mean, you have a list there. They just pick and you figure it out. So when I opened it and I saw that, and she had a gift within a gift within a gift, like that Chelsea chest. I was like, what a pain in the ass, So I kept opening it. So I was like, and I said, oh, I was so excited. So I love this shirt, and it's comfortable too. So and then she got me a little garbage can for my car. You tie it, you snap it, and then you could put like garbage instead of just leaving it there.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things. Again, I saw a bunch of things. I saw like a little phone holder, and it was like, it was like a $15 limit. So I was like, okay, that's $14. The other thing's like $12. I was like, a bunch of little things that you can only get. So I was like, I'll just do that. And then I put the shirt there. She actually got me both. So I was like, oh, so she got me the garbage thing and then the shirt. So I was like, all right, straight up.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, but yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Here's a box of chocolates.
Yeah, that's exactly. No. Oh, here's your. I didn't get her that. I got somebody else. I was like, here's your makeup brushes. $10 makeup brush or whatever it was. Was it? talking about my basketball. I had basketball practice
Oh
tonight.
yes, how was it? How was it, man?
It was good, but kids, you gotta, it's like hoarding,
Cattle.
yeah,
Yeah.
But last game,
Especially-
you and I didn't talk after the last game.
How was it? That's true. We didn't talk.
We haven't talked, and I meant to call you that day, and it just lost track. We lost that game 11-16.
Okay, competitive.
It was a competitive game. It was like the first quarter was like there was just all defense, no real score. It was like 4-2. We were down 4-2, and second quarter, I'm trying to remember how it went. I think it was what was it? 8-4. I think it was 8-4.
I remember those games, man. And they're torture.
Hoarding cats, yeah. So it was like that, and then at halftime we did the free throws, and no, it was 9-4. We did free throws, so it was 8-4. Then it became 9-7 because they hit 3, we hit 1, so it was 9-7. After the third quarter, we were still winning. And I'm trying to remember exactly how it went. I think it was 11 to 9 at that point. And after that, fourth quarter starts. I'm like, okay, we're winning. We're gonna score. Now, I was a little tipped with the other coach because you're supposed to line up your players before each quarter, and you say, okay, you, Alex, you got your guys, I got mine. All right, so Tristan, you're covering 14. Amelia, you got 12. So because you got to stay on that person.
Yeah, it's
man to man. You stay with that person. You don't flip flop. Anyway, every time I did that, and I have a little dog because I like to remind the kids, hey, don't forget you got 12. We're about to start, and I go put 12, and all of a sudden, like he switches this kid for this kid. I'm like, Elliot, I said, dude, what are you doing? Like he did that like 3 quarters in a row. And he's like, fuck, idiot. So I got a little annoyed with him, and I didn't know he yelled at the referee. Supposedly he did for something. I don't know what he yelled about, but his team was fouling like MFers. But anyway, in the fourth quarter, there was one of my kids fouled his kid. So they got 2 free throw shots. And so they made a free throw.
Uh-huh.
Then they missed it. Rebound. They got the rebound. Put back.
Oh.
So it was 14-11 at that point. 14-11. And calm down. People see this. I don't care. What is he going to do? Get me? I don't give a damn. I'm talking on my show. Anyway, she thinks, that's the difference between me and her. I don't care. Anyway, it was 14-11. It's like, that's okay. That's good. And then
after that putback, you got to do one of those sport timeouts that you call a timeout, run into the middle of the floor.
Well, even the referee kind of told me, she goes, hey, coach, because me and her, I try to be polite and everything. She said, hey, you have 3 timeouts. You could use them. Use them. And I'm like, I forget. I don't have an assistant coach to remind me or, hey, pull me in and say, hey, you got something, and so anyway, it's 14-11. And then we check the ball in. It's a final like minute, 40 seconds, whatever, 40 seconds counting. And we check it in, and Tristan has the ball and he passes it to his teammate, and teammate looks at him and looks at me, and it's a little, and all of a sudden the guy steals the ball, takes it up court, lays it in, 16-11, and then that's the end of the game. And it's like, so it's like, hey, I said to the kids, they did great. First off, one of my kids, he was stealing the ball, catching every ball. The referee even told me, she's like, hey, I was watching him, like if he was playing zone, I thought he was kind of cheating. She goes, but no, he's playing really good. I go, no, he's like, seriously, he stays on his guy, and then it's like they throw the ball to him because they go to throw, and he goes and grabs it, and he grabs it. So I was like, I told him, I say, dude, you're doing good. And they played a good game. It was a tight game. It's 1-1. We got this next game, and then we got a break. We got a 2-week break after that. So we got 3 games and then break and whatever. Good. So
did you work on rebounding today?
I did. Rebounding, shooting. But the one thing we noticed was, during that game, they got some good shots, but they kept, when they get to the side, they overshoot the basket. So I would say, okay, so today what I practice with is dribble, pass. You got to catch and shoot from that side. And I would tell them, okay, see, what happens is you get a little bit excited, and I understand that. We all do that. You get the ball, you want to make it. So you don't think. So just remember, you see that defender coming. If it's too late, just hold the ball. You don't have to shoot right before he runs. Dribble, hold it, let him pass you, then try to aim it high. And so that's what we were doing. So I was getting in there. I said, now dribble. What I was doing too was running and laying in, dribble, running it up, and just trying to
finishing. Yeah.
finishing it up. Like sometimes you don't have to stop. Sometimes you just have to shoot. And so
at that age, it's very difficult to know how to slow down before you shoot a layup or before
and that's
you
what I'm saying.
take a jump shot.
And I try to do game simulation. So I say, okay, and then I'm your defender. So now I'm going to go, and of course I'm not really going to block them until I start kind of getting in their way. So they're going, and they get it in or whatever, and say, there you go. And so it's just a process. They're 5 and 6 years old, dude. It's or 5, 6 and 7, whatever they are. So, right? Well, how old are they? 5 and 6? Anyway, it don't matter. 6 or 7.
Still unacceptable. You got to rebound the basketball. You got to tell them. You got to rebound the basketball.
Because age coordination is not a strength.
No, it's true. Especially hand and eye coordination and speed. Yeah. But one of the best things that you could do, one of the best drills actually, is like stop and go drills, where, like you say, even like green light, red light, where you play them to a point or to the cone, and they have to recover. They have to stop on the dime. They can't cross the line.
Well, that's what I did. Again, if it's red light, green light, and you got a dribble, stop, hold that ball, get in shooting motion. And it's this repetition and whatever. So it's a challenge. It's giving me more gray in my beard, but you know what? You know how I was before the season? I was a little nervous. I was like, before practice, I'm like, dude, I know the game. I'm not where to your end, like how I am with football. You are with basketball. Yeah. But I was like, but I'm not, I know it.
Yeah.
But now that after the first practice, first game, I'm like, oh, this is, I know what I'm doing.
Now, just manage your timeouts. Call your timeouts, because that also gives you.
That's the thing, though. You get lost in that.
Yeah.
And Tati will tell you, I run up and down the court. I'm like, because I can, I'm running with the kids. So on offense, I'm running with them. I go, pass here, pass there, pass there. And I go back up. And my assistant right now is Audrey. Audrey's great.
Tell Audrey, have a little list for her that you put timeouts 3, and she could tell you, Dad, you got 3 timeouts. Or if you call timeout, scratch it out. Dad, you got 2 timeouts.
Yeah, I'll have her probably stand on the side, not running with me, but just Roger Goins in the house. Good to see you. Against Denver is a sign of what's coming. Yeah. But anyway, I'm happy with the way it's going. I feel a lot better about, I told Tati, I said before, I was kind of like, oh man, because I could talk football and coach football and whatever. I know the game, but basketball, I know it. I know what to do. I know how to. I'm not. Sometimes you coach better than you play. I'm not a great player or a good player. I mean, I have fun with it. I'll play and I could get, but I'm not that. But coaching, I could do it. I'm not. I just, it's just what it is, but it's been a lot of fun. It's a great experience so far, and I'm really looking forward to Saturday. But anywho,
good luck on Saturday, my brother.
Thank you, sir.
Baby. 2-1.
Thank you, sir. Let me just say this, guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Before we wrap this up, again, if you're a Dolphins fan, Heat fan, Marlins, Miami Hurricanes, Inter Miami sports fans, listen, you got to go check out CanesWear at Miami Fanwear. They're located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. All right. They got everything, unbelievable merchandise for every one of our beloved teams in Miami. They got a lot of nice new jackets, starter jackets that they just showed up on Twitter yesterday. I wish I had the image with me, but you got to go check them out. Go to CanesWear at CanesWear on Twitter. They have it there. They had a beautiful Miami Hurricanes jacket with the mascot behind them. They got a beautiful Dolphins jacket with the cartoon logo. The one I like from the one we grew up with, Alex.
The 90s, yeah.
Dude, they got some nice stuff. They got some great merch with great prices. And look, you could go there to the location. Again, it's 2655 South University Drive in Davie. They got this actual store. They got the outlet store right next door. You want to save some money. But also, you don't have to. If you live anywhere other than Florida or South Florida, you could go to www.caneswear.com. You get everything they have in store, they have on the website. And anything over $99 is shipped for free. Brett and his team have some great stuff. Guys, you got to check them out. I'm so excited to be partnered with them, with Finstock Sports Network. And it's good things going forward. I don't have them here, but another one that's really good too for Dolphin fans is the Greatest Show on Surf shop. We just partnered with them. Celebrate the best offense in football. I know everybody's caught up in their feelings right now about how the Dolphins have played on Monday night. I get it, but the Dolphins are still the number 1 offense in football. They're still 9-4. They're still the number 1 team in the AFC East and the number 2 team in the AFC. They're the greatest show on surf. They're breaking records. Raheem Mostert, 18 total touchdowns, 16 total rushing, 16 rushing, 2 receiving. He needs 1 more to break the record. That's what this football team is. That's how prolific it is. Show off your fandom. Represent your team. Okay? Celebrate the number 1 team in football by checking out the greatest show on surf.shop. Here's what's the cool thing. If you go there and you love what you see, which I believe you will, once you want to purchase something, whether you get a cool shirt that says the greatest show on surf, or you get one with Tyreek and Jalen on there, or you get the hat or the glass or the mug or whatever, all that cool stuff, whatever you want to get, you go to that final checkout, there's a promo code option. There's a coupon code. Type in Fins Talk. You get 15% off. Okay? Save some moolah. All right, and anything
I
over
might use
50,
it. Santa might have to get a few things from CanesWear, so Santa might have to go shopping. Use the FinStalks.
That's with the greatest
code.
show. That's the greatest show on surf.
Oh, greatest show on surf. Oh, okay.
Go to their
Never mind.
website. Go to their website. Use FinStalk. Save 15%. If you need it shipped, anything over 50 is shipped for free.
Okay.
Guys, again, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. We will get back to what we usually did. Of course, since it's the heat of the season and all that, we talk and we can talk. And Alex's schedule is busy. My schedule's crazy.
Yeah.
So once we get together, we just go in. But we got to go back to word of the day, life stories, all that crap. We will get to that. But until then, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Let's go. Heat.
Like, subscribe.
Fins up.
Let's go Heat. And Fins up. Appreciate you all for watching.
Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos.
Los chicharrones.
Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chaclete